Lubia, sometimes transliterated Lubia, was a Palestinian Arab town located 10 kilometers west of Tiberias that was captured and destroyed by Israel during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Nearby villages included Nimrin to the north, Hittin to the northwest, and al-Shajara to the south. Each of those villages were also depopulated. Lubia had a total land area of 39,629 dunams, of which 83% was Arab-owned and the remainder public property. Most of its cultivable land was planted with cereals, while only 1,500 dunams were planted with olive groves. The village's built-up area was 210 dunams. History. The village was known as Lubia by the Crusaders and was a rest stop for Saladin's Ayyubid army prior to the Battle of Hittin. It's also the birthplace of a prominent 15th-century Muslim scholar Abu Bakr al-Lubyani, who taught Islamic religious sciences in Damascus. Ottoman-era Lubya belonged to the Nafir of Tiberias in 1596, a few decades after the Ottoman Empire won control over the region from the Mamluks. The village was required to pay taxes on its goats, beehives and its olive press. Its population was recorded as 182 Muslim families and 32 Muslim bachelors. The Ottoman governor of Damascus, Suleiman Pasha Ali Zm, died in the village while on his way to confront the rebellious de facto Arab ruler of the Galilee, Zahir al-Umar. A map by Pierre-Jacques Hittin from 1799 showed the place named Lubia. Lubia is near the site of Khan Lubia, which is filled with the ruins of a pool, cisterns and large building stones. This site was probably a caravanserai during medieval times. In the early 19th century, a British traveller, James Silk Buckingham, described Lubia as a very large village on top of a high hill. Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, a Swiss traveller to Palestine, referred to the village as Lubi, and noted that wild artichokes covered the village plain. The American scholar Robinson, who passed through the village in 1838, noted that it had suffered greatly from the Galilee earthquake of 1837, with 143 villages reported dead. Mark Twain mentioned it in his 1869 travel book, The Innocents Abroad. We jogged along peacefully over the great caravan route from Damascus to Jerusalem and Egypt, past Lubia and other Syrian hamlets perched, in the unvarying style, upon the summit of steep mounds and hills, and fenced round about with giant cactuses. In 1875, the French explorer Victor Guérin visited the village called Lubia and estimated it had 700 inhabitants. He further noted that a house built of cut stones of medium size in the direction of east and west appears to occupy the site, and to be built out of old materials formerly used for a Christian church. Later that century, the village was described as being built of stone, on top of a limestone hill. Its population, estimated to be between 400 and 700, cultivated olive and fig trees. An elementary school was established in 1895 and remained in use throughout the rule of the British Mandate of Palestine from 1923 to 1947. British Mandate era. In the 1922 census of Palestine conducted by the British Mandate authorities, the population was 1,705 Muslims, 4 Christians and 3 Druze, increasing in the 1931 census to 1,849 Muslims and 1 Christian, in a total of 405 houses. During this period, Lubia was the second largest village in the Tiberias district. According to the Palestine government's village statistics, Lubia had a population of 2,350 in 1945, all Muslim. All the inhabitants were Muslim. The total land area was 39,629 dunams. Of this, a total of 1,655 dunams were for plantations and irrigable land, 32,310 for cereals, while a total of 210 dunams were built-up land. Capture by Israel. At the onset of the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, Lubia was being defended by local militia volunteers. Village forces constantly skirmished with the Jewish militias, which would soon become the Israeli army. The first Israeli raid on the village occurred on January 20, 1948, coordinated with one on nearby Tehran, leaving one Lubia resident dead. On February 24, local militiamen and Arab Liberation Army members ambushed a Jewish convoy on the village's outskirts, causing several casualties, including one militiaman. The attack signaled that the Israelis were unable to keep the roads open and that foreign volunteers were taking over the offensive in the eastern Galilee. In early March, Israeli forces attempted to create a route between Tiberias and the village of al-Shajara, which required attacking Lubia. During the attack, militiamen repulsed the Israelis, killing 7 and losing 6 of their own. After Tiberias was occupied by Israel, Lubia turned to the Eilat in nearby Nazareth for military support and guidance. In early June, the 14th Battalion from the Golani Brigade was ordered to take Lubia and to expel its inhabitants. Quote, however, the attack failed, due to heavy resistance from the villages. The Eilat attacked the Jewish town of Safera on June 10 at the time when a truce was being brokered between Lubia's militiamen and Israeli forces. After the truce expired on July 16, Israel launched Operation Dekel, capturing Nazareth at the start. After news of Nazareth's fall, the majority of non-combatant village residents fled north towards Lebanon and to nearby Arab towns. The Eilat also withdrew, leaving the local militia to confront incoming forces. When a single Israeli armored unit appeared outside the village, the militia retreated and left the village. The few remaining residents reported that Israeli forces subsequently shelled Lubia, demolished a few houses and commandeered many others. The village was finally demolished in the 1960s. Present-day, the Israeli town of Lavi was built on Lubia's land, northeast of the village site. There are also 2 parks on the village lands, the Lavi Pine Forest and the South African Park. They are used as picnic grounds for local residents, including former residents of Lubia, who are internally displaced persons living in various existing Arab localities in Israel. Demographics. The village's population rose and dropped dramatically throughout its history. In 1596, Lubia had a population of 1,177, dropping to about 400 to 700 in the beginning of the 19th century. The village's residents predominantly adhered to Islam. It was estimated that there was 16,741 Palestinian refugees descending from Lubia in 1998. After 1948, the majority of refugees lived at the Wavell refugee camp in Lebanon and other places in Lebanon, Jordan and Syria. A few hundred remained in Israel as present absentees, living first in Kfar Kana. After the departure of the PLO from Lebanon in 1983 and the Sabra and Shatila massacres, many Lubia refugees emigrated from Lebanon to Europe. By 2003, about 2,000 lived in Denmark, Sweden and Germany. Bibliography